Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the next confessions. World's funniest confessions. These are quickly becoming my favorite videos to do. This is the 5th one that we're doing, but I could potentially do 50 of these, and that's my sick little confession. Guess what? Here's one. I love making YouTube videos. Whoopsie. Heard it right from the horse's mouth. I love this dumb little website. That's my confession. And I love when you guys tune in to watch these videos. I love when you hit the like button. God, I love it so much. That's my little confession. Dirty little secret. I love when you subscribe. Whoops, who said that? Who let me say that? Let's get into it. I pretended to be my dad, and now my friend's mom wants to fuck me. Let's fucking go. Off to a good start. Just the headlines on these alone are worth an entire video. My friend, male 18, let's call him Jaden, and I, male 17, were at a friend's party getting drunk. Jaden is a crazy name to just choose out of the blue. Let's call him Jaden. I don't know, Jaden. J-A-Y-D-E-N. Jaden. Jaden has a really strict mom, so he told her he was sleeping over at my place. She needed a parent's number, so he just gave her my number, pretending it's my dad's. She ended up calling to make sure it was okay for him to sleep over, so deepened my voice, pretending to be my dad, and told her that it was fine. She apologized for seeming like a helicopter mom and said she's just new to being a single parent. My dad is a single parent too, so I thought it'd be nice to reassure her that it gets better. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. You were hitting on her as your dad. Just admit it. Just admit it. You were. No, I was just trying to reassure that it gets better. He's like, trust me, baby girl. It gets better. Trust me. Duh. Later that night, I got a text from her saying, it's nice to know there are some other single parents out there. Being the drunk dumbass I responded, definitely. I'm here if you need someone. You were asking for, what do you... You know he's not telling his friend about this too. You know, it's not like he's like, dude, your mom just texted me. Yo, I'm gonna hit her back. He's definitely like, oh fuck, she just texted me. I'm here if you need someone. It has been 2 months and not a single week has passed where she hasn't texted me. Last night she tried to FaceTime me saying that it was a particularly lonely night. And when I said I was busy working, she sent a nude saying, are you too busy for this? Okay, no. Stop it. Hey! Stop it! I don't know how to tell Jaden his mom is sexting me. He doesn't even know she contacted me after the call. I can't just drop off either. Jaden and I are in theater together and we have a show coming up that both of our parents are going to. I need help, please. Okay, well, assuming that this is real, you should have not fucked 2 months? 2 months? I'm sorry, 2 months? What? Why are you trying to claim like, oh, it's been 2 months, I don't know what to do? That's fucking like 8 or 9 weeks you had to be like, maybe this is not a good idea. Every day too? You weren't ever like, oh, they're gonna run into each other in person eventually anyways. And she's gonna be like, what did you think of my text last night? And I'd be like, I'm sorry, who are you? You are wrong for this. You are wrong for this. Especially the nude. That's dirty. That's bad. Honestly though, it's a little bit on her too that she's been texting this 17-year-old for 2 months. You know, she hasn't once been like, this is not a person with children. You know what I'm saying? Like, not once where you're like, this person flirts a little weird, you know? She's like, what are you doing? What are you up to? He's like, oh man, I just fucking logged out of Fortnite, fucking not capping at all about that. And she's like, what? I was working on my motorcycle. I was just doing taxes, you know, dad stuff. Oh yeah, okay, cool. That's hot. I can only find one solution for this predicament. You gotta tell your dad and hope that he is on board to take over for you. All he needs to do is text her and say, got a new number and wanted to make sure you had it first. Then you'll be in the clear and your dad can get things going for himself. If this works, please update. I mean, any dad would be like, I don't know, actually. Single dad, maybe he'd be like, hey, thanks, son. 2 months of legwork here. It's just a layup for me. You just fucking alley-oop this. I'm about to dunk it, if you know what I'm saying. It's wrong. It's wrong. Let me just say, the whole thing's wrong. And the dad probably should be like, what? You were fucking texting someone pretending to be me for 2 months? That is fucked up. But there is a small chance this dad is on board. I don't know what this dad is like, you know? He probably should be like, don't do that. That was absolutely wrong, and I'm gonna tell her. But I mean, this might work. Can you imagine the dad being like, all right, so catch me up. Like, what kind of game you been laying on her? Like, what have the conversations been for the last 2 months? What have you told her? Like, you know, catch me up to speed, son. Imagine coming home from work and your son drops a DTF MILF's contact info in your lap, and all you have to do is show up. Talk about raising them right. Okay, what are you, 13 years old? DTF MILF. There's no, who's to say that she's a MILF? Zero indication here that this mom is a MILF. She's just horny and single. Man, I'm gonna raise all my sons to hit on DTF MILFs for me. My little team of pickup artists. Yeah. All right, sons, go peacock for me. Here are your fedoras, go peacock. Go find me some MILF tail. Jesus, I hated saying that. I mean, dude, thinking about some dad having an army of little fedora-wearing pickup artists is fucking hilarious. My mom thought my brother and I were sociopaths for years. I just found out why. The liquor store my mom used to go to when my brother and I were kids was attached to a pet store, so we would play in there while she was getting booze. It was the kind of place where they had hamsters and stuff out in open-top cages in the middle of the store, and the worker was never paying attention. So my brother and I would shove some up our asses when no, I'm kidding, it doesn't say that. I was just making sure you're paying attention. So my brother and I would wear XXL jackets, then reach into the cage and steal handfuls of hamsters at a time, okay? Yep, you were sociopaths. How does this keep going? Like we would each leave with 3+ in our pockets. Then we'd keep them in our room and play with them. Obviously they died really quickly because we were like 7 and idiots. But when they died, we didn't know what to do with their bodies, so we stuffed them into CVS bags and just put them in the freezer in the garage. Our mom found out on my 8th birthday because we'd put the bags next to the grilling meats and ice cream. She screamed bloody murder when she opened the bag next to the grill and found 14 hamsters inside. We were raised really religious, so I was terrified of admitting to stealing them, so we just said we found them all. My mom thought my brothers and I were finding hamsters and freezing them alive. We spent 3 years in therapy. I mean, you kind of were. I'm sorry, but maybe your mom was right? Maybe finding hamsters in a freezer to any degree is a worrying thing? Just because you weren't putting them in the freezer alive doesn't mean you weren't torturing them by leaving them in your room to fucking starve to death. How is that an insight that you're not getting? Like, you guys, like, this is like serial killer behavior, straight up. And just to be like, yeah, my mom we were misunderstood. We were 7. All we were doing was stealing hamsters from their cages and putting them in our jackets and hiding them from our mom because we knew that we were doing something wrong, and then we were just letting them die, and then we would freeze them. We weren't sick. After, I don't know, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th hamster died, did neither of you or your brother have any hesitation or reflection along the lines of, hey, maybe we shouldn't steal them anymore because it means they'll die? I mean, after the first one, I think most 7-year-olds have like a concept of death, right? I don't know. I have no idea. I hate this confession, to be honest. I hate this, just thinking about those poor hamsters, man. Those poor little hamsters. What did they do to deserve this? They're just chilling in the pet store. Will you walk in there, little fucking 7-year-old goblin, like, I'll be having that! I'll be having these! Oh, those poor hamsters. Can we get a little moment of silence, actually, for the hamsters? Thank you. Why my uncle will never eat soup again. Okay, I'm looking forward to this one. To preface, my dad came from a poor family of 6 kids in the middle of nowhere. Real food was hard to come by, so often they would just throw whatever they could find into a pot and call it soup. My nana is not a pet person. She's scared of squirrels, doesn't like dogs, etc., but for some reason my papa let my uncle have a rabbit that he found outside. What's with the small animals today? It was a small black rabbit that my uncle named Blackie. Okay. Not the best nickname. My uncle took great care of it, fed it fresh fruit and vegetables, and it became a super big rabbit. One day while my dad and his siblings were at school, their neighbor was talking to my nana and said that the rabbit looked really meaty and perfect for the stew he was making and offered my nana $10 if she gave it to them. When my uncle came home, he thought the rabbit had run away and spent all night looking for him. He even put up hand-drawn posters around the neighborhood that we still have today. He was inconsolable. Only thing that made him feel better was the stew that the neighbors brought over that night. This is not real, come on. About 20 years later at Easter dinner, my nana tells this true story about how Blackie died, and my uncle was livid, but my nana laughed so hard while she told the story. She had tears falling down her face. She laughed so hard, she fell out of her chair and broke her hip. Unfortunately, she wasn't in the best health and never made a full recovery. I mean, karma's a bitch. She spent the rest of her life in the hospital, but the good news is that my uncle forgave her before she passed. The bad news is that he refuses to ever eat soup again. I want to believe that this is real because this really is poetry. Truly full circle moment. The day that the nana admits it, the day she's laughing so hard at her son's misfortune that she caused, that she falls and breaks her hip and ends up in the hospital in a metaphoric pot of stew, as she did to the rabbit. I mean, okay, Shakespeare. I am thinking right now of how unfortunate of a situation it is that he called the rabbit that, and then he was probably walking up and down the streets screaming its name. Probably seemed like maybe he was a little racist child, perhaps. That probably didn't help his cause of people helping him look for the rabbit. I mean, in this case, I don't know what things, I know people eat rabbits all the time. Have I had rabbit before? Yes, I have, I believe. So it's not like, I mean, it is pretty like sociopathic taking your son's pet and selling it for $10 and then allowing him to eat it. That's absolutely beyond fucked up. Can we just have a moment of silence, please, for the rabbit? Years ago, I taped over my parents' wedding video with Nightmare on Elm Street, and now I'm going to get caught. Years ago, I used my parents' wedding video tape to record Nightmare on Elm Street because these were the old days when that's what you did when you wanted to keep a movie. I realized what I had done after capturing the film, but by then, the damage was done. All that remains now of the original footage is my mother preparing with her bridesmaids, followed by some guy coming to their room and saying, "Hey." The off it cuts to Krueger and stays that way for the rest of the film. I felt in terror when I realized it, but put it back in the closet where I found it and forgot about the incident for years. Well, this weekend is my parents' 30th wedding anniversary, and they are renewing their vows and then coming back to the house. Coming back to the house with all their friends and the whole family to enjoy wedding-style cake, champagne, and view the film together. I hope they like Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe they're stoked. Maybe they're like, oh, fucking, this is way better. I love this movie. The worst parts are they do not know what I have done, and my grandfather, the man who walked my mom down the aisle, passed away 2 years ago. And my grandmother, who was his wife, will be attending. Mom told me she's excited to see him dance with my mom in the video, and I just feel awful. Oh my fucking god. I feel horrible. What I propose to do is leave tomorrow and say I have pre-existing plans for President's Day weekend and therefore won't be around for the celebration. This whole thing is set to happen on Saturday. I'll leave and then return in a few weeks. But I do feel terrible. I know that were I not smart enough to leave tomorrow, I'd be facing a world of embarrassment. It's not really embarrassment. It's just like I'm sorry. Like you just ruined a beautiful moment. I wouldn't be embarrassed about that. I would just feel absolutely horrible about it. Dude, this little detail right here, my grandmother, the wife of the deceased grandfather, wants to watch him dance? Oh my god, that makes me want to fucking cry. These are all pretty devastating today. I gotta be honest. None of these are really that funny. Poor Nana. I just can't wait to watch him dance once again. Well, Grandma, I hope you like Freddy Krueger, because that's what you're getting instead. I just can't wait to watch him dance once again. It's the only thing I've been living for. The last 10 years have been hell, but I've been looking forward to this day, the 30th wedding anniversary, where I get to watch my sweetheart dance again. You fucked up. Big time. You should have told them when it happened. Tell your mom you want to have digital copies made. Take the tape and have the first part transferred, then call and tell her the bad news. You were only able to pull the first few minutes and the tape just stops. You think it might be damaged due to age, but going to continue to work it and see what you can do. This way at least she gets the salvaged parts. I would fast forward and see if there's anything after Freddy too. That's a fucking good ass solution actually. That's a really elegant solution right there. Because I feel like at this point, it's like telling the truth is only gonna hurt your relationship with your parents who are old. This might be one of those you take to your grave, you know? The solution is simple. Hire some actors and recreate the wedding. Nana's like, that's not Papa. That's not what he looked like. Wouldn't being surprised and distraught as the rest of the attendees not work? I mean, you gotta be a good fucking actor for that. To be like, what? Oh, what? Wait, what? Explain to me again, what's going on? Nightmare on Elm Street? I've never even seen that. What is that? Never heard of it. Taped over? Who in the heck came in here and did that? I'm mad. Just bad acting, just get overly mad. I'm fucking pissed. I'm going to the neighbor's place with a gun and I'm gonna see if they did it. Oh fuck, he's really pissed about this. The rest of them are just like, oh, that's too bad. He's just like, I'm fucking pissed! I'm gonna kill whoever did this! Fuck! Yo, relax, calm down. Where's your gun? Oh, that's funny. That's rich. That is truly rich. What else we got here? I had an orgasm on a roller coaster while holding my sister's boyfriend's hand. What? Okay, now we are talking. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. So this happened a few months ago. We all went to a theme park, I won't say which one here, and rode lots of roller coasters and had a good time. Rode. My older sister, 20, didn't want to go on the swinging boat ride, you know, the kind that is a pirate boat and swings back and forth for a few minutes. I'm very familiar with that ride. Horrifying. As she isn't a huge fan of rides anyways, but me, F, and her BF, 21, wanted to go on it, so we went together and sat right at the back. Big mistake, as I'd soon come to learn that the forces are much stronger in that part. That's the worst thing to do, is sit in the back of that fucking ride, dude. Oh my god. I hated that. I loved and hated that shit at the same time. All started off normal for about 10 seconds, but I started to notice as the ride went backwards, each time I'd feel a huge amount of force down there, and it felt very, very good. By about the third or fourth it did, I was shaking and getting close, so I think my sister's BF could tell something was up and must have thought I was scared / freaking out, so he grabbed my hand to hold it, but this was another big mistake as the human touch didn't help with what I was going on, and as we neared the top I had the most intense orgasm of my life and couldn't help but scream. Oh my god. The ride ended and we got off. My sister asked if I enjoyed it. I just played it down, said it was scary, but now I need the toilet. Still to this day, no one knows what really happened on that ride. That's a fucking confession right there. That is a confession. That's so funny. Just like, oh man, she seems like she's really scared. And then at the top, at the peak of it, just being like, oh yeah? It's like, this one, is that what you do when you're scared? Oh yeah? What the I don't even know how, I'm like confused on how this is like physically possible. The only thing this ride makes me feel like is dying. Like when it drops and it's just all, it's like here. It's like, Like how you could channel that to feel that here is a crazy thing, and I hope you took advantage of that. Non-creepily. You know what I'm saying? Like wait for off hours at the fucking fair. At the theme park, go, you know, hit it alone, wait for the off hours where no one else is riding that thing, climb in the back row and just fucking have yourself a day. Have yourself an afternoon. De-stress a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this lady fucking loves this ride. So the G-forces hit the G-spot. Ha ha ha. Ah. Oh, that ride does the same for me. This is a thing that happens? That happens to me every day I ride a scooter at Walmart. I go once a week and have a massive orgasm in the deli section. Alright, I was wrong. That's a confession. That's better than any of the ones we've read so far. What do you mean you have an orgasm in the deli section? Every day. And what kind of scooter are you riding? What is that? What? One bad Brazilian ruined my friendship of 23 years. It's not very nice. I doubt they're talking about a Brazilian person, probably a Brazilian wax, I would guess. All right, let's find out how this ruined a 23-year friendship. A couple years ago, my best friend got engaged and asked me to be her MOH, maid of honor. We decided that the bachelorettes would be the bridal party going to Barbados for 4 days in the summer, and as a gift, we covered the bride's expenses. To cover costs of the Airbnb, booze, and the activities, we each chipped in $500, which is a lot for me. After all expenses, I save about $200 a month. 3 days before the trip, while shopping at Target, I saw a home waxing kit for a fraction of the cost of a Brazilian. So in order to save some money, I brought home one of those giant pots of wax that you heat up in the microwave and slather on with tongue depressors. I've only ever shaved with a razor my entire life. Never having used it before, I put a lot of wax on. After it dried, I tried to pull it off and nothing happened. The wax was too thick and it just refused to budge. I tried everything I could to get it off. I first poured baby oil between the wax and my skin, and when that didn't work, I took the hottest bath known to hell in an effort to melt it, but no dice. Now desperate and panicking, I dribbled acetone and some bleach mixed with water on the now misshapen wax rock, hoping it would dissolve. This caused the worst skin irritation I've ever had. I couldn't even touch the goddamn thing without feeling a pain that defies explanation. A shiny pink tortoiseshell now lived in my underwear. I spent the next 3 days in agony, every little movement tugging at the imprisoned hairs and chafing me raw. Going to the bathroom was sheer torture, as every time I pulled my underwear down, I would have to carefully peel my rose-scented woman hole cover away from the fabric. Defeated, I went to urgent care and had the most embarrassing 30 minutes of my life. They told me the best thing to do was just to wait for the hair to grow out and cut the hair to detach the pussy protector. I had exhausted my options, too ashamed to admit that I'd held my vagina captive behind a solid mass of what now felt like concrete. I texted my bestie to tell her that I'd caught COVID from someone at work and couldn't come to the trip. She was completely understanding. Fast forward 3 days to the weekend and I'm out at dinner with my boyfriend when I receive a photo of the back of my head at said restaurant. A mutual friend saw us there and sent it to the bride. I immediately came clean, which only made it worse. She didn't believe a word I said until I sent her photographic proof. Unfortunately, once the smoke cleared, she still wouldn't forgive me. She couldn't forgive the lie and told me there were so many solutions to my problem that did involve skipping the trip. In hindsight, I totally agree. Friends 23 years and we're still not on speaking terms 2 years later. Learn from my mistakes. Never buy an at-home waxing kit. Go to a professional or just talk to your friend. That's the lesson here. Talk to your friend. And go. Just don't wear a bathing suit if it hurts or whatever. I mean, I guess if you were in a lot of pain and like getting on a flight would be shitty. I think the funniest thing about this one is that that a doctor at urgent care told you grow out your pubes. That's the only solution. The only solution is bush. You gotta grow you gotta grow that freaking bush out. That's the only solution here. That's my medical opinion. Okay, that's my informed medical opinion. Pubic bush. Grow that shit out. That's the lesson here today, folks. More pubes. Thank you for watching. Another moment of silence for the dead rodents in this video. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.